The parsha that's always read prior to Tisha B'Av is Parsha's Devarim. Moshe Rabbeinu is giving the Jewish people rebuke. These are his final days on earth. He's going through all the mistakes they made over the years. And it's done so subtly, sensitively, poetically. You really got to study this well to understand what he's talking about in the first place. He alludes to the various things they did wrong. Which is really the way it's supposed to be done. Words can kill. If your goal is really to help people, you don't kill them in the process. It's so easy to destroy one's self-image. So much more difficult to rebuild it. You want people to be greater, you bombard them with their shortcomings. They'll never grow. They'll never grow. They won't have what it takes. So Moshe Rabbeinu, the leader, does it, again, with the utmost of sensitivity. The Haftorah is Yeshayahu Hanavi, prior to the destruction. We read it to the tune of Eicha Lamentations. And that's not so subtle. The book of Eicha that we actually read on Tisha B'Av, book of Lamentations, weeping over everything that happened. You got to get it straight. This was written by Yirmiyahu Hanavi as a prophecy before it took place. He is not lamenting what happened. He is foretelling. He's foretelling what we will be feeling if we don't shape up. And it's very direct, painful, morbid. Why not the sensitivity? Moshe Rabbeinu was talking about the past. He's telling the people, this is what the Jewish nation has done ever since we got out of Egypt. We miraculously were saved. The sea was split. We all attained prophecy. There was national revelation. We've got some very deep problems. After all of that, we still went wrong. And we paid for it. But beware that we've got these tendencies within us. He's talking to us about our tendencies. In fact, none of the people that had committed any of those mistakes were still alive. That entire generation died out in the wilderness. He was talking about, I guess you can call it the Jewish personality. Look what you're capable of. He wanted us to know, understand this is what you're up against. These are natural shortcomings you've got. You don't bombard people with their shortcomings. You do it sensitively. But when people are in a bad way, they're headed towards disaster. You got to tell it like it is. You got to do whatever you can to save them. When the Jewish nation is rapidly racing towards its own destruction, they have to be told so. Even if it's morbid. You spare nothing. They have to be saved. Got the difference? You're all here to grow. Growing means overcoming shortcomings. We're not going to help you much if we clobber you all over the head. We don't want to destroy your self-confidence. In fact, lack of self-confidence is so common that one of our responsibilities here is to restore your self-confidence. Every child is born with self-confidence until the people around him or circumstances destroy it. Every human being is filled with talent. We have intelligence, we've got a brain, we've got a heart. Everyone's special in some way. We also have our issues, everybody, without exception. And we have to use our strengths to overcome our issues. So clobbering people doesn't make that happen. But there are times that people are headed towards disaster. And then you got to tell it like it is. And it's difficult, unpleasant, but sometimes it's got to be done. The Jewish people today is headed towards disaster. The Jewish nation is falling apart. Pretty much 8 out of 10 Jewish marriages in America are intermarriages. Say North America. South America, they say, is worse. What percentage of Jews no longer identify Jewish? Who knows? If this continues, what are we going to be left with? We got to tell it like it is. There's no room for being politically correct. There's no room for being subtle and poetic. We've got to get it through to ourselves. The Jewish nation is falling apart. And very few people are doing anything about it. And if you feel good about yourself because you're at Aish and here at least we talk about it, don't kid yourself. Talking about it is not enough. Every one of you has talents, passion, some dormant and some not. No time to play around. We're approaching Tisha B'Av, where we commemorate the destruction of the temple. The first, the second. The greater destruction is that of the Jewish people. Where are we? Where are we? Most Jews don't know what it means to be a Jew. Most Jews will define being Jewish as something to do with ethnic origin. Lamenting is not going to do it. We got to take action. Got to think about it. We work with the ideas we've got. Yeah, over the years, Aish has accomplished quite a bit. But as Rav Noach would always remind us, it's a drop in the bucket. We've got to think about the future of the Jewish people. No games. So in this season, where we mourn, where we crave the return, feel for Klal Yisrael. Think of what you can do. Think of what we can all do together. Realize the direction in which we're headed. No subtleties, no sensitivities. This would be disastrous for Klal Yisrael, for humanity. We've got to save Klal Yisrael. Once and for all. So get the message. I wasn't so subtle, but maybe I didn't clobber enough. Get the message anyway. Realize where we're headed and understand that there is an alternative. And Hashem wants us to do that. Hashem wants us to make that happen.